We are live, Your Honor.
Good evening. Good evening. You know, if you were all Rotarians, you would be fined heavily right now. So any of you that are thinking of joining Rotary understand consequences. It's my pleasure to call the Newark City Council meeting to order. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I feel like I should have John Tucker do an invocation now.
Before we test.
Well, if we had the opportunity to scan the room for our residents of Newark, they would say that is the safest place for anybody to be in the city this evening. It's always my pleasure to introduce new employees, especially when those new employees are on the Newark Police Department. And if I had my notes, I can't blame Councilmember Collazo because I'm actually her assistant, not the other way around. If I could have Sydney Leith join me, please. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce Sydney Leith. She's hired as a police officer in September after graduating from the South Bay Regional Public Safety Training Academy. Officer Leith was raised in San Jose and graduated from Mount Pleasant High School. She has a Bachelor of Science degree in kinesiology from Cal State University Northridge. Officer Leith previously worked as a flight attendant for Delta, American Airlines, and Norwegian Airlines. During the pandemic, she served the community by working for Abode Services, where she assisted the unhoused community get subsidized housing. Officer Leith is a foodie, is learning jiu-jitsu, and to get her out of her comfort zone, she has been performing at open mic nights. I might turn the microphone over now to Officer. In her spare time, Officer Leith enjoys going to the gym, being out in nature, bike riding, and traveling. Please join me in welcoming Officer Leith to our police department. Well, let's see if the next officer can top that resume. Please welcome Officer Rodrigo Diaz-Perez. Officer Perez was hired as a police officer in September after graduating from the Alameda County Sheriff's Office Regional Training Academy. Officer Diaz-Perez grew up in Livermore and graduated from Livermore High School. After high school, he joined the Marines. Thank you for your service. And served as an artillery section chief from 2016 to 2020. Officer Diaz-Perez attended Las Positas College and is pursuing a degree in administration of justice degree. His prior work experience includes working as a high-rise window washer for his father's company. I'd like to tell you this is a safer job. In his spare time, Officer Diaz-Perez enjoys soccer, football, hiking, jiu-jitsu. Uh-oh, I'm seeing a pattern here. Weightlifting and spending time with his family and friends. Enjoying soccer. Are you a Premier League fan?
No, usually I'm a Barca fan.
Okay.
Bayern.
Okay. Okay. If you become a Premier League fan, Newcastle's our team. Okay. Please welcome Officer Everett Schaefer. These officers are smart. They realize if I stand in the back of the room, the applause just keeps going until I actually make it up to the podium. Smart folks. Officer Schaefer was hired as a police officer in September after graduating from the Alameda County Sheriff's Office Regional Training Academy. Officer Schaefer grew up in Discovery Bay and graduated from Liberty High School in Brentwood. After high school, he attended Las Positas College, where he received his EMT license. Officer Schaefer previously worked as an EMT in Alameda County for 9 years for both paramedic, plus, and Falk. In his spare time, Officer Schaefer enjoys skydiving, risky, jiu-jitsu, there's a pattern, wrestling, and dog training. Please welcome Officer Schaefer to our police department. I have no experience in jiu-jitsu. All I know is I'm going to stay away from those three officers. Please join me in welcoming Danielle Cranon-Jones, who's been promoted. Danielle joined the Recreation and Community Service Department in 2023. God, it just seems like I just introduced you. It seems
I grow fast.
They promote you fast because you're talented. You're talented. As an administrative support specialist, too, at the Silliman Activity and Aquatic Center, she was appointed to the interim recreation coordinator in May of 2024. She effectively balanced her administrative responsibilities while ensuring that front desk operations met the needs of the community. She also organized Newark's first public Juneteenth event, which received positive feedback, as it should have. In October of 2024, Danielle was promoted to Recreation Coordinator, where she now oversees operations at the Silliman and manages front desk personnel, some of whom were her former students in Newark schools. Danielle worked for the Newark Unified School District for 15 years as an aide in the special education department, a workability specialist at the high school, and a college and career specialist. Danielle is happily married to the love of her life. Did he write that? That looks like his writing. And together they have a blended family of 4 children. She enjoys traveling, concerts, sporting events, and plays. She's soon to join jiu-jitsu. Although a Fremont resident, so I knew my city manager probably wrote that part. She has served Newark families for 2 decades. She attributes her hard work and achievements to the unwavering support and encouragement of her parents, who before their passing instilled in her the importance of committing to all of her endeavors. And you certainly have exemplified that in all of your throughout your professional career. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I just anticipate I'm going to see Danielle Cranon-Jones in about another 6 months to a year with another promotion. Please welcome Zach Radcliffe. Zach. Ladies and gentlemen, Zach Radcliffe joined the Recreation and Community Services Department as a rec coordinator. He previously worked for the City of San Mateo Parks and Rec Department for 5 years. Zach has worked in the recreation field for 15 years and has worked in multiple areas, including summer camps, adult and youth sports, outreach, special events, youth and teen programs, preschool, and rentals. Zach received his degree in Recreation Parks and Tourism from San Francisco State. Zach is passionate about fostering community connections and providing opportunities for individuals of all ages to stay active, engaged, and connected. When he's not at work, Zach enjoys golfing, coaching, taking scenic drives along Highway 1, at least the portion of that that's still open for cars, exploring new coastal views and beaches, as well as spending quality time with his wife and newborn son. Congratulations on your newborn son. Let's welcome Zach. One thing you'll notice by all the folks that we hire in the city of Newark, they don't come with just minimum standards. These folks come with a wealth of experience, either in previous jobs that they've held or have worked their way up in the organization. We're really proud, not just of these new employees, but just the effort that they put in to serve our community. Please welcome Juan Ayala. Ladies and gentlemen, Juan joined the maintenance department as a general laborer in May and was recently promoted to Landscape and Parks 1. Congratulations on your promotion. Juan is happily married with 2 children, a son and a daughter. In his free time, Juan enjoys watching his son play soccer in the National Premier League. Okay, National Premier League. So you must be then a Premier League soccer fan.
Yeah.
Which team, my friend?
Manchester United.
All right. New coach.
You know, the mayor just mentioned Newcastle. It seemed like that was a pretty good indicator as to what the answer should have been. But I think between now and Juan's next promotion, he'll become a fan of Newcastle. Did you make that a condition of employment, Mr. Banu?
I did not know the answer.
All right. And loves riding dirt bikes. Juan is a food enthusiast and delights in exploring different cultures through their cuisine. He loves to eat. Welcome. We all do. Juan is thrilled to be working in Newark, where everyone treats him like family, and he's grateful for the chance to work with such a fantastic team. Juan is grateful for the opportunity. More importantly, we're grateful that Juan is here. Welcome.
Thank you.
Please welcome Adrian Leon. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Leon started at the city of Newark as a general maintenance worker in May, and now our newest general laborer. Adrian is a longtime Newark resident and attended Newark Memorial High School. While attending Newark Memorial, Adrian would often pass by the service center and wondered what type of work was occurring. He now knows. Adrian is enthusiastic and excited about working for the city of Newark. Adrian lives near the Newark Service Center, and we can often see him walking to and from work. He has an awesome commute. Adrian is a pet lover and has 4 dogs. And I'm going to mispronounce each and every one of your dogs' names, so I'm going to try. Liliano, Guero, Chiquis, and Guinas. Okay. See, that's the right answer the mayor wants to hear when he's introducing somebody. I'll go back to, let's see, who was the gentleman that said, "Man, you." Okay, he'll remember. Adrian enjoys playing and watching soccer, hiking at Mission Peak. How many times have you been up Mission Peak?
Like once a month.
Once a month? Outstanding. That last hill it's a hard one. And enjoys visiting urban forests around the Bay Area. Please join me in welcoming Adrian and his promotion. And last and certainly not least, Jose Alvarez. Mr. Alvarez. I thought maybe I mispronounced the name. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Alvarez joined the maintenance department as a general laborer on November the 4th. Jose started with the city of Newark in June of 2024 as a general maintenance worker and has demonstrated his skills and dedication to the job daily. The energy and commitment he brings makes him a valuable addition to the team. Outside of work, Jose is a devoted family man, married with a son and 2 daughters. Jose enjoys spending his free time exploring his neighborhood on walks and savoring unique food experiences throughout the Bay Area. Recently, Jose has discovered the rich flavors of Peruvian and Colombian cuisine in Pacifica and San Jose. A sports enthusiast, Jose loves attending both basketball and soccer games whenever he can. Since joining the city of Newark, he has appreciated the warm and welcoming environment at the City Service Center, and he values the camaraderie his co-workers have extended, making him feel like he's part of the family, a common theme among all of our employees. Please welcome Mr. Alvarez. Was it something I said? Thank you for the document. The next item on the agenda, folks, is the public comment section. This is an opportunity for anyone in the public to comment on any item that is not on the agenda tonight. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to discuss any item not on the agenda? Okay, thank you. The next item is our consent calendar. The consent calendar will consist of items D1 through D12. Are there any items staff would like pulled from the consent calendar?
Not this evening, Your Honor.
Colleagues, any items that you would like pulled from the consent calendar? Ladies and gentlemen, are there any items that you would like pulled from the consent calendar tonight? The consent calendar consists of the following items. 1, the approval of audited demands. 2, approval of the October 24, 2024 minutes. 3, adopt a resolution approving and authorizing the city manager to execute the purchase order with LC Action Police Supply for the purchase of patrol rifles and accessories in the amount not to exceed $73,000 and approving a budget amendment. 4, adopt a resolution approving and authorizing the acceptance of the 2024-2025 Selective Traffic Enforcement Program federal grant through the State of California Office of Training Safety and to amend the 2024 through 2026 biennial budget. 5, adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a purchase order with the Gov Connection Incorporated for replacement of computers in an amount not to exceed $200,000 and amend the 2024-2026 biennial budget and capital improvement plan for fiscal year 2025. 6, adopt a resolution approving the First Amendment to the Contractual Services Agreement with Government Technology Incorporated, or Group rather, LLC, to continue assistance with broadband initiatives. 7, adopt a resolution to approve the Third Amendment to the Contractual Services Agreement with Client First Technology Consulting Group, LLC, for technology consulting services and authorize a budget amendment to the 2024-2026 biennial budget and capital improvement plan. 8, adopt a resolution authorizing an increase in the solid waste collection, recycling, and organic services maximum rates for calendar year 2025. 9, adopt a resolution approving purchase of a replacement frontline fire engine pumper from Golden State Fire Apparatus Incorporated and authorize the city manager to enter into a 5-year master lease purchase agreement with PNC Bank National Association. 10, adopt a resolution approving an amendment to the contractual services agreement with SNG and Associates Incorporated for engineering division support services. 11, adopt a resolution accepting work with G. Bartolo and Company Incorporated for fiscal year 2023 asphalt concrete street overlay project 1300. 12, adopt a resolution amending the compensation plan for certain positions in the exempt services employee group to amend the temporary classification schedule of hourly rate ranges in conformance with California Code of Regulations, Title II, Section 570.5. Would anyone like to move the items to be approved with any items approved by resolution or ordinance being numbered consecutively and that the reading of the title suffice for purposes of introduction or adoption of the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
That's moved by Councilmember Ana Apodaca and seconded by Councilmember Suzy Collazo. Please vote. And that passes 5 ayes. The next item, ladies and gentlemen, is public hearings. And the first item under public hearings is to adopt a resolution amending the master fee schedule for fiscal year 2025 to reflect updated fees. Mr. Benoon?
Yes, good evening, Your Honor, members of the council. Item E1 is a public hearing to consider staff's recommendation to amend the master fee schedule. If the council may recall, council received earlier this year 2 presentations from city staff recommending various updates to the city's existing master fee schedule. In light of the previous discussions on this, we do have a relatively short presentation from Ms. Lee, who was at the dais. Oh, there she is. Ms. Lee, if you could please proceed with your staff report. You have the floor.
Good. Thank you, City Manager Benoon. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council members. I'm Kristen Lee, Finance Director. Tonight, I am pleased to present the proposed amendments to our master fee schedule for fiscal year 2025. And these recommendations stems from extensive analysis and thoughtful consideration of our service cost and fiscal goals following our comprehensive cost of services studies conducted earlier this year. A little bit of background. In February of 2024, the City Council received the findings and also reviewed the findings from our cost of services study that was conducted by revenue and cost specialists. And the study analyzed our service delivery cost to align with fees with our actual cost, supporting the financial sustainability and equitable assets of our services. The updates to the master fee schedule integrates the study's findings, the city's new drafted cost recovery policy framework, as well as council feedback from both February and October council meetings. These updates also reflect our current operational standards to align with our city's financial goals. The updated master fee schedule is designed to enhance our cost recovery by shifting service costs to those who directly benefit, thereby reducing the financial burden on our city's general fund. It also ensures compliance with legal requirements under Proposition 4, 26, and 218. And these regulate the proper allocation of recovery of our public services. And the master fee schedule also incorporates fully burdened hourly rates to accurately reflect the true cost of providing services, creating a fair and defensible cost structure that supports effective and equitable assets, equitable cost recovery and assets to our services. Some of the key highlights of our master fee schedule updates are summarized in Exhibit A and Exhibit B attached to the staff report, which also outlines the different effective dates for these updates. Additionally, the detailed red lines as presented in the October 24th meeting are attached to each summary for reference. And as directed by council, footnotes were added to clarify fees subject to subsidies or phased implementation. While no fees currently require phased implementation, the city recommends subsidizing certain development-related fees that would otherwise aim for full cost recovery. And these subsidies are intended to promote community health, safety, affordability, and inclusivity. Examples include subsidies for building inspection permit fees, such as single-room remodels, re-roofing, manufactured housing, and retrofit windows to promote access and compliance. A 25% subsidy on appeal fees is designed to encourage public participation and to reduce financial barriers. To support the general plan and housing element, the city also offers a 50% subsidy for fees impacting single-family and low-density residential properties. Additionally, a 50% subsidy is provided for waiver fees related to reasonable accommodations under the zoning ordinance, enhancing accessibility for individuals with disabilities. The amendments are projected to generate up to approximately $1.8 million annually, reducing the $9 million gap in cost recovery that was identified as part of the cost study. And this revenue will help reduce the city's reliance on the general fund, allowing the city to allocate more resources towards services that benefit the entire Newark community. Upon council approval, these updates outlined in Exhibit A will take effect immediately, while those in Exhibit B, which includes the fire services and the development service fees, will become effective on January 13th, 2025. And this is in accordance with the 60-day requirement under the California Government Code, Section 66017. In conclusion, these amendments reflect a strategic effort to align the city's fee structure with our financial goals while ensuring fairness and accessibility for our residents. Tonight, staff recommends that council adopt the resolution approving the updated master fee schedule for fiscal year 2025, and that concludes my presentation. I am available to answer your questions, and we also have Mr. Eric Johnson on the line, and he's the president of Revenue and Cost Specialists, and we also have representatives from the various departments to help answer questions.
Great. This is a public hearing, so are there any clarifying questions before I open up for the public? All right, folks, this is a public hearing. Are there any questions, comments that you have regarding the presentation that was made? Okay, the public hearing is closed. I'll return it back to council for any questions you have. If not, I'll look for a motion to accept staff's recommendation. Moved by Vice Mayor Freitas. Second by Councilmember Apodaca. Please vote.
Thank you.
And that passes unanimously, 5 ayes. And just for folks that are maybe watching at home, if you wonder why there wasn't a lot of discussion, we had this item as mentioned by Ms. Lee just back in October. So we had plenty of time to visit this item.
Resolution of the City Council of the City of Newark approving the amendments to the master fee schedule for fiscal year 2025.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to return now to other business. The first item is to adopt a resolution for, one, adopting the conceptual plan and project priority listings for Lakeshore Park as part of the citywide parks master plan. Two, adopting the conceptual plan and project priority listings for Jerry Rayber Ash Street Park as part of the citywide parks master plan. Adopting the conceptual plan and project priority listing for Cedar Linear Park as part of the citywide parks master plan. And four, adopting the conceptual plan and project priority listings for remaining parks as part of the citywide parks master plan, and approving the non-park specific updates to the citywide parks master plan. Ladies and gentlemen, several of the council members will need to recuse themselves as we visit each one of these items. I myself will need to recuse myself after the Lakeshore Park and subsequent segment due to real property interest within 500 feet of the Cedar Linear Park segment, and that real property is my residence. So I will recuse myself after Lakeshore Park. Councilmember Member Apodaca and Vice Mayor Freitas and Mayor Hannon and City Manager Benoon will announce their conflicts before Lakeshore Park is considered. I'll start with you, Mr. Benoon.
Yes, good evening, Your Honor, and members of the council. Item F1 is a recommendation from city staff to approve the final version of the Parks Master Plan update. If the council may recall, 3 weeks ago, the council met, received a presentation on the draft Parks Master Plan, provided feedback to staff and the consultant. The past few weeks, staff and the consultant have been busy incorporating both the council's comments and the public's comments into a final document for review and consideration by the council. As Your Honor so indicated a moment ago, there are a fair amount of conflicts, so unfortunately this will appear a little bit disjointed to the public who's viewing this meeting. There are 4 resolutions that are being recommended for approval. The first 3 deal with park projects, or park plans, excuse me, that are specific to the identified conflicts of interest. The first one will be Lakeshore Park, and we'll get there when we get there. The last, and then there's second park is Jerry Rayber, third park is the Cedar Linear Park. The 4th resolution that is being recommended is approval of the remaining balance of the plan for most of the city's parks. Similar to what we did a few weeks ago, Ms. Gonzalez will provide the presentation. She'll begin by providing some introductory comments, and then we will go through the segmentation issues that we just discussed, and then deal with the remaining park balance plan. With that in mind, I'll turn it over to our Strategic Initiatives Manager, Ms. Roy Gonzalez, for the staff report. Ms. Gonzalez.
Thank you.
Let me get a point of clarification, if I may, Mr. Benoon. Do council members Anna Apodaca and council members, or Vice Mayor Freitas need to leave the room now or after the presentation?
For the introductory comments, they can sit for about 5-10 minutes. I don't know how long Ms. Gonzalez's introductory comments are, but at some point, we will go through that recusal process.
When we specifically discuss Lakeshore Park?
Correct.
Perfect, thank you.
Which is going to happen pretty soon, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It'll be clear once I get to Lakeshore Park. I'll pause.
Great.
And
Thanks.
Good evening, Your Honor and members of the City Council. I'm pleased to be here to present the final draft of the Parks Master Plan update for your consideration this evening. Tonight's presentation will provide a review of the process, priorities, and conceptual plans for each park, and the incorporation of the feedback that we received at last month's City Council meeting. Before reviewing the development process of the plan, I will provide some context and background information. The city manages 134 acres of parks, including the 10 acres owned by the Newark Unified School District, which is McGregor Fields. There are 9 neighborhood parks, 3 community parks, and 2 special use parks, Shirley Sisgrove and McGregor Community Playfields. In 2017, City Council approved the citywide Parks Master Plan. And to keep up with the industry best practice to update master plan every 5 to 10 years, the City Council authorized an agreement with RHAA in May of 2023 to develop the update to the Parks Master Plan. And in October of 2024, the draft plan was presented to City Council for feedback. And we are here this evening to present the final plan for your consideration. The Parks Master Plan update has 4 overarching goals. These goals are from the Parks, Recreation, and Open Space element of the general plan and include protect and support the existing network, to accommodate demands in service, enhance community identity, and foster connectivity. One of the main components of the plan development process was community engagement. Input from the community was gathered in a number of ways, which included an online survey. There was 470 respondents. There were 6 stakeholder interview groups that were held, and several community outreach events, which had over hundreds of participants over the 3 events. Part of the process also included assessing the existing park networks and amenities. This also included the playground safety audit by a certified playground inspector. So we looked at what do our parks currently have, what are the conditions. And once the community engagement phase and the inventory assessment was completed, a gap analysis was done. This involved looking at the supply, which is what we have, the condition that it's in, and the demand, what the community wants, to identify the gaps, which turned into the potential park projects. As you heard last month, there are millions of dollars of park projects, and so there needed to be some priority setting. The list of evaluation criteria include many different items that are listed above: the code and regulation, the high priority of the community, if it fills an unmet need, the service area, potential revenue generation, were they included in previous planning efforts, and then operational efficiency. After all of the projects were evaluated using that criteria, these 4 key priority areas surfaced: children's play areas, and they're broken down high, moderate, and lower based off of the safety audits, restrooms, improvements, and new restrooms, and then the maintenance and play fields, and trails and pathway improvements. The projects were prioritized into 8 groups. The first group, about $9.7 million worth of projects, and that included 13 projects, which included the high priority playgrounds, play fields, and restrooms. Group 2, about $5 million, and included 11 projects, medium priority playgrounds, pathway lighting and improvements, and then additional play fields. And Group 3 at 4.1 included 13 projects, and this was the lower priority playgrounds and trails and pathways. We're not asking you to make any funding decisions tonight, but would like to provide some context as to how these were grouped and why some projects, while they are a priority and important to the community, they may have fallen into, priority group 3 or 4. Now that I've provided a general overview of the Parks Master Plan process and priorities, we will move through the segments related to Lakeshore Park, Jerry Rayber Ash Street Park, and Cedar Linear Park, which have been separated for individual votes as a result of real property interest. Councilmember Apodaca has a real property interest related to Lakeshore Park. Vice Mayor Freitas has a real property interest related to Jerry Rayber Ash Street Park, and Mayor Hannon has a real property interest related to Cedar Linear Park. As a preliminary matter, in advance of the meeting, staff utilized a random means of selection, flipping a coin, to determine the order in which the segments would be considered. Based on the random selection, the order of consideration is as follows: Lakeshore Park, Jerry Rayber Ash Street Park, and then Cedar Linear Park. After consideration of the 3 segments, the City Council will consider the remainder of the Parks Master Plan. After randomly selecting the order of the segments, staff undertook a second random selection in advance of the meeting, flipping a coin again, to select one of the conflicted council members to create the minimum quorum for the 3 persons to act on the Lakeshore Park segment. As a result of this process, it was determined that Mayor Hannon would participate in the Lakeshore segment. Thus, Councilmember Apodaca and Vice Mayor Freitas will recuse themselves from the Lakeshore Park segment. Mayor Hannon and Vice Mayor Freitas will recuse themselves from the Jerry Rayber Ash Street Park segment, and Mayor Hannon will recuse himself from the Cedar Linear Park segment.
I just want to make it clear to our audience that the recusal of the mayor does not represent a significant amount of real estate that he holds around the city of Newark. He has a house. So we're going to begin with the Lakeshore Park, and in this particular case, as mentioned by Ms. Gonzalez, Vice Mayor Freitas, Councilmember Ana Apodaca, and City Manager Benoon will need to recuse themselves. So I would look to the Vice Mayor to announce the recusal, please.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm asking to be recused because from this segment, as well as the subsequent segment for the consideration of the master plan updated for Jerry Rayber Ash Street Park as a result of leasehold, real property and business interests in the following: 7730 Enterprise Drive, Suite 1.
And Councilmember Ana Apodaca.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'll need to recuse myself due to real property interests within 500 feet under consideration. Real property is my residence.
Thank you, Councilmember. City Manager Benoon.
Yes, good evening, Your Honor. My primary residence is located within 500 feet of Lakeshore Park. I too will recuse myself. I took no part in the preparation of the staff report or this PowerPoint presentation, did not direct staff in any manner in this, on this item.
Thank you, Mr. Benoon. And Ms. Gonzalez.
So presented before you is the conceptual drawing of Lakeshore Park. This drawing was reviewed at the last council meeting, and there was no input from council or the community. The 2024 plan update priorities include a potential new restroom, new playground, and trails and pathway improvements. The Lakeshore project the park projects fall into priority group 2, 5, and 6. And I'd be happy to answer any questions related to Lakeshore Park. Otherwise, staff's recommendation is to adopt a resolution approving Lakeshore Park and associated projects on this.
Excellent.
And Mayor, if I
Yes.
may, before we start discussion, I just want to make it clear that due to these recusals process that we have to have tonight on this item, once a decision is made on this project, we will not be able to go back and discuss Lakeshore Park. So with each of these recusals, we're only discussing the one park. And then once we get into the final part of this presentation with the remainder of the parks, we won't be able to bring back up Lakeshore Park or Jerry Rayber Ash Street Park or Cedar Linear Park. Just want to make sure that's clear.
I understand. So in other words, this is our first and only bite at this apple.
Yes.
So colleagues, any questions regarding the Lakeshore Park? Councilmember Jorgens? Nothing, Councilmember? No. Folks, are there any questions regarding Lakeshore Park and some of the improvements that we identified and gave direction to staff at the last meeting? If not, I'll look for a motion to approve the presentation on Lakeshore Park.
So moved.
By Councilmember Jorgens. I'll second.
I was looking around to see who's going to second.
Please vote. And that passes unanimously, 3 votes yes, and Vice Mayor Freitas and Councilmember Ana Apodaca recusing themselves.
Resolution of the City Council of the City of Newark adopting the conceptual plan and project priority listing for Lakeshore Park as part of the citywide parks master plan.
He's not coming back in?
No, he'll come back after.
Okay.
Then we get to Lenny's. It's very confusing. Okay.
Yeah.
Show me the presentation. You guys do the vote. And we'll come back.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, I'm going to go ahead and recuse myself because I do own real property within 500 feet of the linear park. And I'm going to turn the meeting over to Councilmember Susie Collazo.
Thank you, Your Honor. Do I have a bid on his home? I'll take 1,000, 1,000, 1,010. Do I hear 1,020? Okay, so this is a resolution for the conceptual plan and project priority listings for the Jerry Raber Ash Street Park as part of the citywide parks master plan. Ms. Gonzalez, and we have the presentation, please.
Thank you. Up here on the screen is Jerry Raber Ash Street Park conceptual plan. This plan has remained the same from the last council meeting. No changes were requested. I did want to point out that there was a comment about the pathway around the park, and it was confirmed after the meeting that the pathway does go all the way around behind the baseball field, so that there's a complete walking path. The 2024 plan update priorities include replacing the playground, which is a high priority, and enhanced play fields. The priority groups are 1, 5, and 7. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions related to Ash Street Park. Otherwise, staff's recommendation is to adopt a resolution approving Ash Street Park and associated projects.
Would anyone in the public like to speak on this item? Not seeing anybody raise their hand. Are there any council comments? So we need a motion to adopt this resolution and a second.
So moved.
So moved by Councilmember Matthew Jorgens
Second.
and second by Ana Apodaca. Sheila?
Please vote.
And we have 3 yeses and 2 recuses. Thank you.
Resolution of the City Council of the City of Newark adopting the conceptual plan and project priority listings for Jerry Raber Ash Street Park as part of the citywide parks master plan.
Wow, what a show.
This is so much fun.
I don't get to join you.
I'm not being recused this meeting either.
Now, I guess we are at item number 3, correct?
Correct.
And is it ready for me? This is a resolution from the conceptual plan and project priority listings for City Linear Park as a part of the citywide parks master plan. Presentation by Mr. Gonzalez. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Cedar Boulevard Linear Park also did not have any changes from the draft that was presented at the last council meeting. The projects fall into priority group 3 and priority group 8. I'd be happy to answer any questions related to the Cedar Linear Park. Otherwise, staff's recommendation is to adopt a resolution approving the Cedar Linear Park and associated projects.
Would anyone from the public like to speak on this item? Any other council comments?
No.
I'm asking for a motion, resolution. Move the item.
So moved?
The item was moved by the resolution by Councilmember Jorgensen, second by Councilmember Collazo.
That's fine.
Who was on the, was Collazo. Please vote. Oh, now I have to go.
Oh, Sheila will do it.
Oh, Sheila can-
from your own screen, sir.
Yeah, you vote on your screen.
Yeah, okay.
Sheila's
To
gonna-
vote mine and I have to.
No,
You can
yeah,
control.
Sheila's gonna do
Okay.
it.
Yeah, you're
Very- Thank you very much.
Vote no for Mike.
So the motion passes four ayes and one recused. Mayor Micah Hannan. Thank you.
Resolution of the City Council of the City of Newark adopting the conceptual plan and project priority listings for Cedar Linear Park as part of the citywide parks master plan.
So how much did you get for my property?
$1,010.
Wow.
This and this gone, this and this gone, this and this gone.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're now going to review the remaining parks, and as mentioned by Ms. Gonzalez, the 3 parks that we just went over will not be brought back for discussion. So, Ms. Gonzalez?
Thank you. The next park is Byington Park. This park has a slight change from the last council meeting based off of feedback. The pathway has been expanded to create a full loop around the park. And these projects in the Byington Park fall into priority group number 3. The next park is Civic Center Park, and no changes from the last part, the draft plan. The priority groups are 2, 3, and 6 for these projects. Grand Park, while it's included in here as part of our Parks Master Plan, this will be done by a developer, so there's been no priority assigned to the park projects.
So, can I ask you a
Yes,
question?
Vice
here?
Mayor Freitas, yes.
On the last presentation on the October, the draft plan, this is the new, I was a bit confused, this Rand Park, it's the former area of used to be, so the old timers, the FMC property, correct?
Correct.
Because it was not mentioned, okay, so, and now it's another park next to, no, but on the Enterprise by, I guess, Alipo and Enterprise is a private park because was developed by the local, and area to the local developers, correct? So it's a kind of private, but there's no mention here at all, correct, on this?
Correct.
Okay.
It's privately owned, but open to the public.
Okay, thank you for the clarification, because I was a bit confused by those 2 parks. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Vice Mayor. And colleagues, if you have questions as we go through this, feel free to just ask your questions, while they're fresh in your mind.
Thank you. The next is McGregor Playfield. So you will see this one has had some changes. The cricket pitch was removed. There will continue to be some language in the plan that identifies this as a potential location should that become a priority of our community in the future. However, I think it was quite clear at the last council meeting that the priority of our community really is additional sports playfields for soccer and softball and other sports. That, in combination with the fact that it's school district property, in doing improvements like that to the playfields would be incredibly difficult. So to meet the needs of our community, this has been changed to include additional playfields. Mayhew's Landing Park, no changes have been made. Priority groups 2 and 6 for these projects.
I just have a quick question regarding the Mayhews Landing Park, Mr. Benoon. When I was talking to residents in that neighborhood, there was a lot of concern, or some concern regarding some of the trees that back up to Montcalm Avenue, and I think we've actually have asked staff to go out and do some trimming of those trees. Is that my understanding?
I don't have an exact update as to the tree maintenance schedule on that. I don't know if Mr. Young has anything to share, but staff is investigating that at the very minimum.
Okay, thank you very much.
The next park is Mirabou Park, and this falls into priority group 1 and 8. You can see replacing the playground's a high priority, which is where it falls into priority group 1. The next is Music Park, and this is a priority group 5 and 7. In Newark Community Park, priority group 1, 2, 4, and 6. There's a lot of projects recommended for this park, and they're broken up depending on their priority level. The next is Sanctuary Park. Also no changes in priority groups 7 and 8. The next park is Shirley Sisk Grove. A couple changes have been made. The restroom has been moved away from the stage, and language has been added to the plan for additional parking analysis at the time if this project moves forward, to determine the amount of spaces that could potentially be needed based off what's going on in the area. And those groups are priority 7 and 8. Sports Field Park, no changes have been made since the draft plan was presented, and that's group priority 1, 3, 5, and 7. And the last park is Susan Johnson Bridgepoint Park, and these are priority group 2 and 7. So as I just went over, some of the feedback that we received at the last meeting included incorporating expanded pathways into Byington Park, moving the restroom away from the stage, and the added language about parking analysis to Shirley Sisk Grove, and then replacing the cricket pitch with additional sports fields at McGregor. There was additional feedback that we received at the last meeting that wasn't incorporated into the conceptual plans but have been noted by staff, and that includes the BMX park location study and conceptual plan, which the language has been included in the update. And I also wanted to note that this location study and conceptual plan is a funded project on the CIP project list. And then the mention and request of a parks committee. So the staff has noted it and will research it and provide some additional feedback to City Council. It was also noted the playground themes of incorporating different types of playgrounds along the different neighborhood parks so that the community can utilize all of the parks. And then making sure to research the bike racks to ensure that they securely lock the bikes. Staff will also look into private sponsorships as these projects move forward, and revenue generation for these projects. It's also been noted and incorporated into the priority project groups duplicating amenities. So you'll see projects that have, for example, bocce ball will fall into priority groups, 1 or 2, and then not again until further down the priority list to make sure that these amenities are being utilized by our community. And then the several maintenance issues, including restroom cleaning and field maintenance, has been noted and is being looked into by our maintenance staff. So next steps for this Parks Master Plan update include the consideration of approving the remainder of the parks tonight. And then staff will provide an overview of the presentation to the new City Council next year. And in mid-2025, staff will present an update of the capital improvement plan to include expenditure recommendations of parks funds using the prioritized project group list as a guide. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any additional questions you may have.
Great. Before I ask my colleagues for questions, is there any questions that anybody in the public has regarding any of the information that you heard this evening? Okay. Colleagues, questions, comments?
I have a comment.
Yes, Councilmember Apodaca.
Not so much on the plan itself, but just maybe for staff to consider down the road. On the Maryview Park, where the path is, to make sure you guys know that's an incline on that path going to Maryview. Mm-hmm. So I've seen bicyclists, young kids, 9, get brave. They go down that path straight into the street. Luckily, there's not that school is closed, so there's not a lot of traffic. But if any additional homes are put on there, maybe that should be part of the traffic study done in that community. And that path may need to be modified or safety.
Thank you.
Comment.
Yes, Councilmember Koyasu.
Well, I was happy to see the BMX park as a consideration for the future. I know it wasn't something that the public really requested, but things that bring tournaments to our city, I mean, that to me is so important because it's generating the taxes and, our hotel rooms are getting filled and hopefully new restaurants at the mall will, be utilized, and so thank you for putting that on there.
Great, thank you for the presentation. I just have one question regarding financing and things of that nature as it looks at the park. Are we aware of any cities that look at kind of naming rights for parks in terms of generating funding to help offset the cost for those park improvements? Are we familiar with any city that might do that? I'm not familiar with any offhand.
Facebook
Yeah.
Park?
Which park?
Facebook Park?
Yes, there you go. That's a start. So something to think about, consider, maybe look into. This is just informational item, is it not, Mr. Benoon?
No, there's a fourth resolution recommending approval of appointment.
Great. And can we approve all the resolutions in one vote?
There's only one remaining resolution.
Great. Can I get a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
By Vice Mayor Freitas, seconded by Councilmember Koyasu. Please vote. And that passes unanimously.
Resolution of the City Council of the City of Newark adopting the conceptual plan and project priority listings for Birch Grove Park, Byington Park, Civic Center Park, McGregor Playfields, Mayhew's Landing Park, Marabou Park, Music Park, Newark Community Park, Sanctuary Park, Shirley Sis Grove, Sportsfield Park, and Susan Johnson Bridgepoint Park, and the remainder of non-park specific aspects as part of the citywide parks master plan.
Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez, for the presentation. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the last item on the agenda tonight is a resolution approving an amendment to the employee agreement with the city manager, Mr. David J. Benoon, to serve as city manager, approving an amendment to the compensation and benefit plan for the management, supervisory, and professional employee group, approving an amendment to the city's salary schedule in conformance with California Code of Regulations Title II, Section 570.5, and approving an amendment to the 2024-2026 biennial budget and capital improvement plan. City Attorney Chris Cocatello will make the report.
Thank you. Good evening, Your Honor. I will be providing a brief report this evening as required by state law, which requires an oral report on the final action on any changes related to executive compensation. Just as a background, Mr. Benoon has been serving as the city manager since December of 2018. He has an existing contract that was put in place at that time, and since then there have been 2 amendments to that contract. Most recently, this past September, the City Council conducted a performance evaluation and appointed Mayor Hannon to serve as the labor negotiator to discuss labor negotiations related to potential contract amendment. Salary survey with Newark's comp cities reveals that City Manager Benoon is 4.5% below average total compensation. This is despite 2 prior merit increases that he had received in the past. The proposed amendment to the existing contract, the 3rd amendment, would provide for a 5% salary increase, which would establish an annual base salary of $350,895.96, effective October 1st of 2024. With this amendment, it would put City Manager Benoon just 0.5% above the average total compensation, and also will help address compaction with the next highest department head in the city. I will also note that there are amendments to the compensation benefit plan to adjust city manager position to range 30, as well as an amendment to the salary schedule to match that. I will also note that City Manager Benoon is currently the 2nd longest tenured city manager in Alameda County at this point in time. Prior to this point, he has never been at or above median in total compensation. This would be the first time that he would be right at about median. And I'm certainly glad to answer any questions. There is a resolution for council
Thank you,
consideration.
Mr. Tello. Are there any questions or comments from anybody in the audience? Turn it back to my colleagues. Questions, comments? I have a comment. First of all, you took my line away, City Attorney. I was going to mention that Mr. Benoon is now the second longest serving city manager in Alameda County. Probably soon to be number one, probably in the near future, I would imagine. But, you know, when you talk about salaries for public employees, it's always a difficult subject matter because we recognize as public employees, our main responsibility is to serve the public. Nobody wants to talk about their salary and the compensation, even though it's all a matter of public record anyway. But in this regard, as the mayor, I certainly want to be representative of my colleagues and say Mr. Benoon absolutely deserves the salary increase that he's receiving. He's done exceptional work for the city. He's in touch with what's going on in terms of what are the community priorities. He's out and about in the community listening to residents in terms of what are their thoughts and what are their issues, and has been extremely responsive to this council. So we are proud of you, Mr. Benoon, and pleased to provide you with the compensation that you so deserve. With that being said, I'll turn it over to my colleagues to vote on this resolution. Please vote.
We haven't, someone wants to make a motion.
Motion?
Oh, I was so excited. I'll make a motion that we approve the compensation as outlined by the city attorney,
Second?
by Councilmember Collazo. Please vote. That was me.
Wrong button.
Let's take that off and do it again. And that passes unanimously.
Resolution of the City Council of the City of Newark approving amendment number 3 to the city manager employment agreement with David J. Benoon, approving an amendment to the compensation benefit plan for the management supervisory and professional employee group, approving an amendment to the city's salary schedule in conformance with California Code of Regulations, Title II, Section 570.5, and approving an amendment to the 2024-2026 biennial budget and capital improvement plan.
Thank you. City manager update?
Yes, good evening, Your Honor, members of the council. We have 2 planned events between now and the next city council meeting. They are both recreation-related events. First, on Friday, December 6th, from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. outside the Newark Civic Center Plaza, the city will be hosting its annual tree lighting event. There'll be a whole host of exciting activities, including performances on a stage, cookies, crafts, games, photo booth, toy drive, raffles, and a community resource fair. Again, that is Friday, December 6th from 5:30 to 7:30. Activities and crafts run from 5:30 to 6:45, and the tree lighting ceremony will start promptly at 7 p.m. The following Friday, our recreation department is hosting a family fun run ugly holiday sweater event over at Lakeshore Park. It's Friday, December 13th from 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m., and the race will commence at the Lakeshore Park Boathouse.
Would an Oakland A's sweater be considered an ugly sweater today?
In my book, it would.
Thank you, Mr. Benoon. Colleagues, updates, matters? Councilmember Ana Apodaca.
Well, I'm going to say that this is my 6th meeting and the first one without a closed session, so thank you.
We never promised you a rose garden. Councilmember Collazo.
Well, I'm going to say this is the next to the last meeting. And when Mayor Al Nagy left, I inherited his heater. So it's been my trustworthy friend. And I want to make a note that everybody knows that I'm inheriting it to Councilmember Matthew Jorgens. Nobody better take it. And if anybody wants a heater, shop Newark.
Councilmember Jorgens.
I want to thank all the Newark residents that took time out of their day over the past I guess, month or so to go and vote. Our system and our council works best when we hear from as many people as possible, and all votes are still being counted. I do want to thank all Newark residents who took the time to vote and show their care for our community in that way.
Thank you, Councilmember. Vice Mayor Freitas.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. How many of you remember this phrase? Stay tuned for the camera. Who was saying that?
Stay tuned for the camera.
Stay tuned for the camera. And where that was for many years, you hear that, especially you, Councilmember Caiaça. Stay tuned for the camera. And, Your Honor, we are live. Who said that too?
Oh, could be council member, a mayor.
I'm going to say
Smith?
the city manager.
No. No. Stay tuned for the camera. Was our brave city clerk for 13 years on the 5th floor tower. I believe was in this direction, right? The 5th, I believe was this direction. Hey, pointing. Hey,
How quickly we forget.
This lady, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Sheila Hangington, the city clerk of Newark, for 13 years, she entertained us to open the council meetings. Stay tuned for the camera. You remember that? And then you came down and your slogan or your phrase was, Your Honor, we are live. And we always saw behind the camera, so you always remember that. Oh, acknowledge for we be ready. So I served with 3 city clerks on my 29 years. It was Talon Metcalf, Francis Miller Rogers, and for the last 19 years, 13 at the 5th floor, and the last 5 on these chambers. And many of you reading and hearing, especially on the news, these officials to the Bay Areas got fined by the FPPC because for the late financial reports, Ms. Sheila Hangington always keep the elected officials on time and alerts for we to file and comply with the reports. So this young lady keeps us always and the elected officials looking good. So my sincere thank you to you, Sheila. Always demonstrate your professionalism. My dear Sheila, thank you. Thank you, thank you.
I appreciate the young comment, thank you.
Now, I'd like to acknowledge another person, and behind the scenes, and many of you never see his face. But with the permission of our city manager, I ask if we can bring Mr. Duke de Leon out to the podium for him to recognize the man. Also for the 19 years, he's been broadcasting multimedia specialist as an independent contractor. On both buildings too, you're working with Sheila on the 5th floor. So this is, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Duke de Leon. He is the man. He is the man behind the cameras to broadcasting us to showing where we are to the Newark resident special. So thank you for Mr. Leon for your service on the multimedia and to show the Newark residents. And I know you live very far away, and it's a kind of sacrifice to you and to your family, but we've always been here, so the best to you and to yours. And thank you for your service to us for 19 years. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Your Honor, may I add one
Yes,
thing?
you may, Councilmember Koyasa.
I forgot to wish somebody a happy birthday. Angela, happy birthday.
Oh. Okay, I'm not done. I have a few more.
You
comments.
take your time, my friend. Nobody is leaving.
Nobody's leaving. Now, about the elections, as our council member Jorgen said, we thank you for the people who went to vote. And
He has
myself,
10 papers sitting in front of him.
Mr. Mayor elected, it's not official, but I would like to congratulate you on your re-election. as a new mayor of Newark. So
Thank you.
Thank you for your, I guess, you convinced a lot of people to bring to the polls, but you demonstrate that you're the man to be the mayor of the city. And also, I believe it's under 2-year term, or the short term, I believe Miss Eva will be the elected. It's not official, but looks like she's going that direction. I'd like to congratulate Eva Little too for that. And on the 4-year terms, we had neck and neck between Julia and Mrs. Jacinta Arteaga. So looks like tomorrow, remember in 1995, when I first elected to this chambers, I was just won by 5 votes. And on the day of the election, was 5 votes, and was a lot of pressure because San Jose Mercury was very implemented on the area, along with Argos at the time, and they put a lot of pressure, especially on me, because they want me to claim the victory, and I said, no, I always believe on the system. The system was count and recounting twice. Took about 20 days, so we're not delayed, but it's this registrar been taking so long to release the last votes. I don't see the reason for that, but I hope, I guess tomorrow will be the last batch of votes we'll be sending out, and whoever the second elected official will be appointed tomorrow, so I'd like to extend them my congratulations. Should be a she, so it should be a she, so either Julia or Jacinta will be elected. And to them, my best. And that's it, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Let me also recognize.
And along with the measure passed for LL2, it's a huge victory. So thank you, Mr. Benoon, for the city will collect about $2.5 million, I guess, predicted on the per year. And the school bond also passed, so congratulations to the both agencies on the victory on the bond and the measure. Thank you.
Come back and tell us how to spend the money.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome, sir. And as we recognize those folks that, first of all, I want to recognize all 13 candidates. We had 13 candidates run for city office here in Newark, and all 13 are to be recognized for their passion for their community and their willingness to serve. And there's no losers in an election. Anybody that goes out and knocks on doors and meets the public at their front door to talk about issues that are important to the community certainly deserves to be recognized for that effort. And I will recognize Mr. Terrence Grindal, who is currently leading in the 4-year seat, and it looks certainly like that is a one seat that's going to be filled, so congratulations to Mr. Grindal for that. But again, let's make sure we thank all those that participated in the process. And as Mr. Jorgens, Councilmember Jorgens mentioned, we're a community where we expect residents to be active. We expect residents to participate. We expect residents to vote. Because as the Vice Mayor mentioned, the second seat for the 4-year term is currently separated by 18 votes. Every vote matters. Every vote matters. And you have a right to be critical of your government, whether you vote or don't vote. But at least if you vote, you know, you have an opportunity to persuade the council that this is the direction that you want them to move. That being said, congratulations, Mr. Benoon. Job well done on Measure LL. Almost 80% passage, because our community recognizes that 2 new fire stations and a cultural arts facility are things that are a priority for this community, and it's now our responsibility to see if we can't get that to happen. And congratulations to my colleagues on the school board for their passage of Measure O, which is going to bring needed tax dollars to help these aging schools be brought up to date with infrastructure, technology, and the other infrastructure needs that our kids need to be successful in this community. With that all being said, I'm going to echo Councilmember Collazo and say, shop Newark. Be here the first meeting in December. We're going to have 3 colleagues who have almost 50 years of council experience serving this community that will be stepping down from the dais. You don't replace 50 years of experience in any community. It doesn't matter. But I'm excited about our future. We have 3 new council members coming on board, 3 council members who are enthusiastic, have ideas, and want to serve their community. So it's a win-win. It's a win-win for our community. So be here on that date, December the 12th. That being said, our meeting is adjourned.